What's going on, my K-2s? K-2s, how much debt do you guys have? How much credit card debt do you guys have? Have you ever noticed when you go into any central business district, any downtown or any city across the United States, how the bank buildings look so spectacular? They look a little different than the rest of the buildings in the downtown area, like they're made of money. Guys, in this video, I'm gonna detail the dark hidden secrets of the credit card industry. Stay tuned. You may be surprised what you hear. Enjoy. What's going on, my K-2s? Welcome back. Guys, I am here. Take a look around. I am here on a beautiful 60-degree, sunny, breezy day here in Omaha, Nebraska. Great situation, great weather, great little park I'm at right now, just relaxing, enjoying the breeze, enjoying the sunshine. Guys, before I get into the video, I want to take care of a couple things. First of all, guys, I don't know if you've seen my new 2023 Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover update I did. I welcome you guys to go check out that video. In that video, I introduced my brand, my K-2 brand. Here it is, guys, my logo. I'll be launching my K-2 platform, guys. I am giving away, guys, this t-shirt, double-sided. I don't know if you can see that. To the subscriber, and you gotta be a subscriber, who can tell me who my three angels are, my three spirits that have been with me all along in this process. Who are they, guys? And I've talked about them. Some of you guys already know in past videos. So if you don't know, you'd have to go back and check out my past videos to find out. But whoever can give me the three angels, my three spirits, I'm gonna give you guys, whoever this is, you gotta be a subscriber again, this free t-shirt. Send me a DM on Instagram or send me a message on Facebook. Tell me who they are with your information, and I'll send it to you if you are correct. All right? The second thing, guys, is I'm going to be talking about today, a very, very important video. It's very important information for you credit card holders. Are the 5 dark hidden secrets of the credit card industry. Okay? And if you hear anything in this video that you think that someone out there that need to hear it as well, share this information, share this video with them, and like and subscribe to the video. If you're not a subscriber, like and subscribe to the video, okay? I'm gonna be diving off into it, guys. Guys, let me say this. Now, before I tell you this information, I have a YouTube mentor of mine, guy I look up to. He's done very well. He's used the credit card industry. He used to be a banker. He's used the credit card industry to his advantage and being financially free, and all the credit to him, okay? Now, once I tell you guys this information, you're gonna find out why I say what I'm saying. I would not advise you guys to go down the route of credit card arbitrage to try to gain some type of monetary advantage. If you're already in a situation where you're in debt, you had credit card debts up to eyeballs, I would advise, just my opinion, I'm not your advisor, I can't tell you what to do, but it's not my cup of tea. Now, if it's yours, you want to go down the route of credit card arbitrage, do your research online and dive off into it. But this business, guys, is not for the faint-hearted. Some of you guys listening to me right now are probably most likely in debt, knowing the stats I know about how polling has gone across this United States. Polling companies go out and talk to people. We know we know how many percentage of us are in debt. Some of us guys can't even afford $400 in emergency, right? So we know a lot of us are, a good percentage of us are in debt. And credit card debt is a big part of that. As I talk to you guys right now in 2023, in October here, or November now, huh? So we are in $1 trillion, not with an M, not a million, not a B, not a billion, $1 trillion, over $1 trillion in credit card debt in this country, guys. And yeah, have you noticed that when you go to these downtown spots in any kind of city across the United States, how beautiful these bank buildings are, right? They're spectacular, right? Tall, big, strong. They look different than all the rest of them, don't they, guys? They look like money, right? So, guys, there's a reason for that, right? I'll go back to 2007. I filed bankruptcy in 2007, which is pretty stupid, on only $15,000 in debt. Part of that debt was a credit card debt. Peridian, guys, was a company I had a credit card with way back in the day. And Peridian, they targeted people like me. I had a low credit score. I was younger. I was unbankable, unbanked, which means I was like a lot of people. I couldn't, I was not in position to get a traditional banking account. So they targeted people like me. And this company, Peridian, man, they generated billions and billions of dollars on that segment of the population. People just like me back in the day, because it was all based on what they saw on credit scores, right? When they went out and did their research, they looked at the credit scores. They knew who had low credit scores, no credit scores, or high credit scores. Well, to get into this story about Peridian, we're going to talk more about them later. Peridian knew who we called, they knew, quote unquote, who were the, what we call the revolvers, and who what we call the, quote unquote, who were the deadbeats, right? And we're going to talk more about deadbeats and revolvers later on. But before we get into that, we have to know a little history of the credit score industry and how credit scores are manufactured in this country, how they are crunched down and determined, right? Well, everyone knows about the three credit bureaus, you know, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, right? And what they do is they take everybody's credit card information, guys. You go out to the store, buy something, use your credit card, you go do this, use your credit card, whatever it is. They crunch down all that data, right? They crunch down all that data, and in their system is a whole bunch of data on all of us, right? And so they can tell who, the tracking all the information, they can tell who's who, right? And that's how a credit card company like Peridian can get all that detailed information, and they can target a certain segment of the population. Guy like me back in the day, for example. Well, before we get into that, you got to go back a little history and find out how that process works, right? And why, right? Hey guys, so the small little known company called Fair Isaacs, they're in charge of taking all the information that the three credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, they're taking all that data and they're going to crunch that data down a little further to create your FICO score. They're in charge of that process, right? Your FICO score is your credit score, guys. And why is that important? Because that creates a range of where you are in the process, whether you're the range of 300 or at the low end of the credit score spectrum, or you're up to 850, the highest, most reliable person to pay off their loans. So you're either 300 or between 300 and 850 is the range, right? And Fair Isaacs determine where you are in that process, guys. And so why is that important? Because lenders, credit card companies, wherever you go buy a car, you out to buy a house, whatever you want to, any kind of situation where you're out to borrow money, that tells the lenders, information from Fair Isaacs tells the lenders where you are in that process, how much money you can be given, or in terms of credit card companies, where your limit's gonna be, right? And why is that important? How the dark secrets came about, because it's based on this information. This is the start of everything right here, guys. This is how companies like back in the day, Peridian, could target people like me because of that situation, right? I was a low credit score guy, and they can target people like me in a situation, right? So again, guys, this determines as well your interest rate that companies will charge you on credit cards, for example, right? Back in the day, the credit card industry was given a big boost by what we call the Marquette Decision back in the day. The Marquette Decision gave credit card companies, guys, a free rein on charging interest in multiple states. For example, if the credit card company was in South Dakota and the customer the customer of that credit card was in Florida, the credit card company was given the authorization to charge that customer the South Dakota rate, which may have been 25%, right? The Florida rate at the time may have been 8%, but since that customer credit card company was in South Dakota, that credit card company could charge that customer whatever that rate was. So that was the Marquette Decision. It was a universal decision for all credit card companies to charge the customer the interest rate they wanted to charge them, right? That was a big part of this whole thing, right, guys? So a company like Peridian back in the day would target people in segment of that population. They would charge people high interest rates, right? Well, soon after that, the deregulation of interest rates kicked in as well. So that gave them even more power, even more leverage. So banks and credit card companies could charge even people who were, we call the unbanked, right, higher credit or higher, big interest rates, right? Because these people were more risky, for example, right? So, but it gave the credit card companies free rein to charge up to 25, 30, in some cases 35% interest on these credit cards. And again, guys, it's all based on human financial behavior, right? How we take care of our money and what we do with our money out in the marketplace, right? So back to Peridian. And here's the first dark hidden secret of the credit card industry, right? Now, Peridian was punished for this, supposedly, but Peridian was, back in the day, was holding people's, again, they were targeting low credit score people, young folks, people who didn't have a credit score, people who had who were unbankable, they didn't have no traditional bank account. They were taking people's credit card information. Let's say you pay your bill. Peridian was taking your checks or your payment, and they would deposit your payment or your check, into their system, but they would hold off on applying it to your bill, which means that you had a late bill, right? It looks like you had a late payment when you actually didn't, right? And they would hold on to this on purpose to make sure you had a late payment. Don't believe me, guys, look it up. It's in the history books, right? Peridian was holding on to people's payments to make sure you had a late payment. Not only a late payment fee, but a penalty fee as well. Now, the second hidden secret in the credit card industry and this is the basics where it all circulates and starts at right here. It's when the credit card companies and the banks determine who you are, okay? Are you a deadbeat or are you a revolver, right? And I'm explaining to you guys what they are. People who are deadbeats are people who are people like me back in. People who are deadbeats are people who were affluent, people who could pay off their credit cards per month. They didn't have no minimum payments, anything like that. They paid their credit cards off in full, okay? They didn't make the credit card companies any money. To this day, they don't make the credit card companies any money. The credit card companies, guys, and banks don't like these people. Most likely they have money, they're affluent, but they have credit cards, they pay their credit cards off a month. They don't worry about minimum payments, right? These companies don't make money off these people. So in the twisted, upside down world of the credit card industry, guys, they're deadbeats. These people are deadbeats, right? The people they do make money off of was people like me back in the day, the revolvers, right? The revolvers are people who can't pay no more than minimum payments, right? That's all they can pay, right? Well, these people usually have been given over the years traditionally a lower minimum payment to make it look good and a higher limit, which is there's nowhere in the world they're going to pay off that credit card once they got in debt on the credit card, right? You follow me? Because they were never, should have been never given the credit card in the first place. So these people are revolvers, which, of course, judging off what I just said earlier, guys, with fees, late fees, and they are, let me tell you guys, these credit card companies are smart. We talked about human financial behaviors. They have studied these behaviors. They know these behaviors, right? Not just judging from the credit card history we just talked about before with credit score, low credit scores, high credit scores. They know what we spend on and know our behavior in the marketplace, right? So they can pretty much determine if we're going to be successful on a continual basis of paying off minimum payments over the years, all right? Most likely, they know, guys, that as we go with this thing on a consistent basis, most people like this cannot continue to pay off these minimum payments because what's going to happen? Life is going to get involved, right? One thing happened leads to another. And what's going to happen down the road is you're going to have a default credit card, which means late payments, fees, and so forth and so on. Well, guys, you may ask yourself, well, who is regulating the banks and the credit card companies in this country? Is it regulated? In my opinion, yes, it is regulated, guys, but in my opinion, it's not regulated as well as it should. There is a small, little obscure company in the DC area called the Comptroller of the Currency. And they are a subdivision of the United States Treasury Department. And they monitor the banking policies and the credit card industry policy in this country. And they were the ones who came down hard on Peridian for this practice. And they still regulate the policies in this country. But again, my opinion, it's loosely regulated. So that leads to the third dark hidden secret of the credit card industry, and the one that I find the most egregious and the most destructive of all, the darkest by far, I would say. And that, let's just say that you guys got a credit card and you were late on an auto loan or a competing credit card that don't have anything to do with your present credit card. You're late somewhere else in your life financially, loan, mortgage, another credit card, subscription, whatever it may be, right? Certain credit card companies, guys, have a right to change your rates, change everything on your agreement with them, right? Because if they find out that you're late elsewhere in your life, they can change your monthly rate, right? Do you guys know that? A lot of folks don't know that. And this is the big, like I said, this is the biggest dark hidden secret of the credit card industry, guys. And folks are getting their bills and everything changes, their rate changes, their rate goes up, and they have a big credit card bill because of this practice. Okay, guys, which leads into the fourth dark hidden secret of the credit card industry was after that, we had credit card companies were starting to compete with each other, right? After the Marquette decision with credit card companies being able to offer higher rates, the interest rate deregulation back in the day also combined with that gave them all the power in the world to charge what they wanted, what kind of rates they wanted to charge. Well, other credit card companies started to compete with each other. The interest rates started to go down. They started to compete. They started to offer different type of cards out there to the marketplace, right? Trying to entice people all they could. It became a very competitive market. Well, there are some companies out there that got on board first with this. They started to offer, they made it look real good, right, guys? They sweetened the pot, right? They made it look, in a perception wise, they made it look very, very attractive to people who were like me, the revolvers back in the day, right? They started to offer 0% APR, which is, APR is annual percentage rate. Annual percentage rate, which your lower interest rate you got, the better it look, right? So they offered 0 APRs on their credit cards, right? Enticing people in, right? And what this did was, again, it targeted certain population and it gave them a lower percentage rate, a 0% APR, for example, but it gave them a high credit limit on these cards. Knowing that fact, knowing there was a high percentage of these people not being successful on paying off these credit cards on a monthly basis, right? So knowing how human behavior is and where we are cultural-wise in this country, right? It's like this now, guys. It was like that back then as well. That people struggle with budgeting their money, struggle with getting ahead financially. And these companies know that all too well, guys. All too well, all right? And so the fourth dark hidden secret is that they were offering intentionally low APRs to revolvers. Anybody that would sign up for these cards and give them a high limit. And what happened was that when people didn't know is that they thought that they can be late on their payment but still have the same 0% APR. That's what got people right there, guys, because once you are late on these type of credit cards, your rate changes dramatically, and they didn't care, right? They would change your rate from a 0% to 25%. So instead of your minimum payment being $35, it's $75, for example, right? That's one of the secrets that people didn't know about, and people still probably don't know about, right? So it changes dramatically if you are late just one time, right? And guess what? Since you had a higher credit limit, you were paying high fees on that credit limit, because you're not paying on a low credit limit. You're paying on the higher credit limit they gave you before, right? So you're paying late fees and penalties, right, on the higher credit limit, and that's one of their strategies of getting people in that mix, right? So now you see, getting these credit cards, the road you go down when you get caught up with these things, you cannot get out because they got you either way, right? To get out of there, you got to pay the credit card off, and once you get behind with fees and late fees and penalties, it's very hard to catch up. Okay, guys, and that leads to the fifth dark hidden secret of the credit card industry, is that people ask, well, isn't all this stuff disclosed? I mean, are we getting our regular, account information per month like we always do? You get your credit card statement in the mail once a month, don't you? Isn't all in there? All this stuff is in there, guys. Here's the problem. It's so bogged down with legal jargon and this and that and the other. Even it takes a lawyer to understand it. Even some lawyers, guys, don't understand all this jargon in these disclosures that come to you on these credit card disclosures that come to you per month, right? It would take someone that's got some specific knowledge of the credit card industry to understand all that legal jargon in your disclosure. So it's very confusing, and there are some expert people in the industry. Their opinion is that these credit card companies do this on purpose, right? They hire these MBAs to put all this legal jargon in these disclosures to you once a month so they can confuse the public, right? They know some of these quote unquote revolvers, right, don't even know the half of it. They don't know what this information is all about, right? Even though they're reading it, they can't understand it, right? So again, guys, this is some of the hidden messages in the credit card industry that can get you trapped, right? That is the fifth dark hidden secret of the credit card industry, right? The disclosure information comes out to you per month, right? So, and understand that you, in order for an agreement to take place, right? It has to be an agreement where both parties understand. And clearly, from these disclosure agreements that come to people once a month, clearly that's not the case. So these credit card companies, guys, have an advantage over us. They've always had an advantage over us. And even though they're regulated, they're not regulated, they're loosely regulated, they still have, in terms of the interest rates, what they can charge people is astronomical. Now, when Obama came to office years ago, he signed a bill. They debated about this. In terms of them being able to, these credit card companies be able to change your rates just like that with 10, 15 days notice. When Obama came to office, he was successful in signing that bill, which took that right away from the credit card companies. Now they cannot, even though they can still charge you high rates, 25, 30% interest rates, they can't change your rates on a dime like they used to, right? With the bill he signed. Now you may ask yourself, well, hell, K-2, what's the deal? Are they being, how many complaints are they getting? What's going on? Are we talking to Congress about this? Does Congress know about this? Do your congressman, your state representative know about this? They all know about it, guys. They know about it. According to the Better Business Bureau, complaints with banks, practices, and credit card practices are number one. They are the number one complaint from the American public. And then you may ask yourself, well, why don't our state representatives get involved? What about our congressmen? You know, and it's not surprising to find out that the credit card lobbyists that lobby Congress, they'll maybe lobby your state representatives, all right, are one of the biggest money lobbyists out there. They provide millions and millions and millions of dollars to these congressmen and your state representatives, some of their campaigns. So you can see the conflict there, right? So it's very hard to get over in this system because these people in DC are lobbied millions and millions and millions of dollars by these credit card companies, right? They are the biggest supporters. So what do we do with this, right? So if you guys are trapped by credit card companies, you're trapped by your credit card, you're in debt, please, what I can offer you this, don't fall for the trap, guys. If you already are in a situation, don't get further in debt. Stay where you are. Don't keep accepting these credit cards. If you guys are in a situation where you're squashed, and you have a hard time breathing because of your debt, you got credit card debt, please do not accept these 0% APRs you see coming in the mail, right? It's a trap, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you're there already, don't go further in the debt, right? Don't try to borrow from Peter to pay Paul, for example. That's going to further get you into debt. Stay where you are if you are. Don't go further, okay? There is a way out if you can stick with it, okay? Now you guys see why there's over $1 trillion of credit card debt in this country, right? I would ask you guys this is only information I'm giving you guys. This is something I know. I want to provide information for you guys. If you guys have any questions you want me to, one thing about being financially stable where I am now, I have flexibility in my schedule. I have a time where I can go research things and get information for you. If you need me to gather more information for you on this topic or other topics you need help with, you can also DM me on Instagram, message me on Facebook. I can get back at you. But this is very important information, man. This is why there's so much debt in this country when it comes to credit cards, right? This doesn't explain all of it, guys, but I guarantee you this is a big part of it right here. Okay, K-2. So again, guys, take care of yourselves. Again, follow along. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, guys, here's my t-shirt. I'm gonna give it away to someone that can give me out there. You gotta be a subscriber who can give me who my 3 angels are, my 3 spirits that have been with me in this process, getting out of debt process and now building wealth. All right, get at me. If you're new to the channel, please share this information. Share my channel with someone else that could benefit from it. All right, guys, talk to you soon. We've come too far to give up who we are, right? So take to another level. Raise the bar. Only then can we toast to ancestor stars. Bye-bye now.